I think people are shocked to see how much potassium levels have declined over the past couple or 3 decades.
At least 25% of the soils in Indiana are testing below the critical level for potassium.
We can see a decline in potash levels in several counties here in central Illinois.
In Wisconsin, just in the last 5 years, we're averaging a 1.6% increase in the number of soil samples that are falling into this very low category.
Potassium levels are drastically declining in east central Ohio.
In eastern South Dakota, that decline has been 2.8 parts per million per year. That's a significant decline.
You take a look at the last 3 years, and we've had record yields.
When we talk about exceptional yields, we're also talking about exceptional potassium removal rates.
For corn and soybeans, that equates to a 3 to 5 times increase in the amount of nutrients removed per acre compared to 6 decades ago.
What tends to happen sometimes with fertility levels are we're having success with some traditional application rate, but little by little that soil continues to decline where all of a sudden 1 year we have the bottom drop out in certain parts of the field.
If you think about potassium like an account balance in the bank, after years of withdrawals, we're starting to reach a point where growers might be near that critical level where we could see some yield declines.
Another contributing factor is the trend of rented versus owned farm ground. According to the USDA, over 50% of the ground that we farm today is rented. With rental rates being so high, farmers clearly have less money to focus on fertility.
So the past several years, as cash rental agreements are changed, a lot of the ground will change hands quite rapidly over several different growers, most of the time not leading to buildup in soil potassium levels, but actually depletion.
The biggest barrier to building soil test K levels back up, I think, is that growers already have so much to pay for.
So we have our fixed costs, those being land, labor, and equipment. And so many times, growers think about potassium as a variable cost.
I have seen potassium levels drop on the farms that have tried to save money in order to survive. And that it is one of the worst inputs you can cut. It is an input that needs to stay in the program and in fact needs to be maintained or raised to make your farm most profitable.
One of the biggest reasons growers may forego potash applications is because they don't see any ill effects from that lack of application.
They're getting record yields the last couple of years, so if it ain't broke, why fix it? But our data suggests that it very well may be broken.
So potassium is something you have to start considering before you start losing yields.
A lot of guys will say to me, I'm growing the best corn I've ever grown in my life, and you're telling me I need to do something different? And the answer is yes. If we find out that there still continue to be yield-limiting areas, that these traditional application rates are not keeping pace with yields, I am going to suggest doing something different.
If we don't start addressing the issue of declining soil test potassium, we're going to eventually hit this line where yields are going to be impacted, and of course profits will then too.
Because even though you haven't been impacted yet by lowering potassium levels, it will happen and it will cost you some serious money.